In a polarized world, a world that seems to get colder and colder with each waking moment, a world where it either is or it isn't. You're either with me or against me. It's either black or it's white. And when these two opposing forces collide on the battleground of beliefs, the collateral damage is not bloodshed. Instead, the unintended consequences left from the chaos is a gray area. Within this gray area, the powers that be only allow limited ideas, opinions, and beliefs. Well, we're here to tell you, look beyond the veil towards the horizon to see the array, and step outside the gray. What's good, everyone? I'm Lex the Philosopher. This is Outside the Gray. Today, we're going to not just talk about it, I'm going to show you how to be about it. We're going to skip through all the BS. I might tell you guys some stuff at the end of the video, but we're going to jump right into it. I'm so sick and tired of conservatives talking about it but never being about it, okay? They're always going, these conservative influencers and news channels are always going out there with this fake outrage, this fake anger, and being like, why is nobody doing anything? Look at the illegal immigration. Look at the drug crisis. Look at what's happening in our school districts. Look what's happening with our young adults who are literally trying to transition their genders, even though it's not possible. You can't switch your gender. Look at what's going on. And they say, why is no one doing anything about this? Why is nobody protesting or standing up? And I'm asking these influencers and news channels, why are you guys doing anything about it? You have the platform. You can bring people together. Okay, you have millions and millions of viewers. You can literally go post something and say, we're going to protest. Come here if you want to support us. And people will be there because you have the influence to make that happen. So if you're going to continue to ask us why we aren't doing anything about it, then you better be doing more than what we're doing. But you're not, okay? So I'm sick and tired of these conservative influencers and news channels saying that stuff. They always say, they never offer any real solutions, but this is what they do. They'll talk to somebody, so-and-so, what do we do about it? People want solutions. What do you think we should do about it? You know what their answer is? It's talk about it. That's their answer 9 out of 10 times. It's like, as long as we can talk about it, we're good. As long as we have civil discourse, we're good. But we don't have civil discourse. Nobody comes and talks to you about anything. Ever. Okay. And if they do, they freak out and they don't want to hear it. Okay. Nobody wants civil discourse. Even if you're right and you're logical and you're kind with it, they're still going to shut you down. You get shadow banned on social media. Your YouTube channels get demonetized. And then you can't even reach new followers and new viewers, even though those people would have been the kind of people that watched your content, because they demonetize it and shadow ban you, man, across all platforms. So you say, as long as we can talk about it, we're good. But we haven't been able to talk freely for a long time. You can't go and work and speak freely about the gay agenda, what's going on, and all the demonic stuff, and saying that, hey, I don't want any legal immigrants coming into my damn country. Okay. I don't want anybody coming into our country. Get everybody out that came illegally, get them out. We're done for right now. We're going to take care of us and our own, and we'll figure out everybody else later once we figure out our own. But you can't talk about this stuff nowadays, man. You talk about it in work, and you could literally get fired, man. You're talking, like, you could speak out against Black Lives Matter, and look at how miserably that movement failed. We all knew it, right? Like, ooh, what a surprise. But it's like, you talk out about, against something like that, and you can literally get fired, man. You can get fired for speaking out against this stuff. So you say, as long as we can have discourse and we can talk about it, we're good. We haven't been able to do that for 8 years almost. For almost 8 years. So what do you mean, as long as we can keep talking about it? Because it's already been swept underneath the rug. There's no real solutions that they offer, just a fake outrage and no solutions. So this is what we're going to do. I have solutions. And this might not be a miracle. It's not going to be a fix-it-all for everything, but at least it's a start, and it's something that you yourself can do on a daily basis in your environment, okay? And this is how you do it. You start at work, be brave to actually speak up and say something, okay? It's like what James O'Keefe says. Bravery is contagious. All it takes is one person to stand up and speak out, and then the majority of your company might be of your coworkers. They might actually be on your side with whatever the argument might be. Maybe I think it was like what out in Iowa or something. They put up that satanic goat statue. I think it was Iowa, wherever it was. If your company does something like that, you speak up, and you might be nervous, but if you speak up, you might realize that the rest of the company, the majority of them, will stick with you and stand up with you and say, "Yeah, I agree." And now they're going to be emboldened because you had the courage to stand up. So you want to know how to make an actual solution instead of sitting around and talking about it. You go into your work. If they do something like that, you make it known. Okay, you don't go AWOL and just go absolutely ape shit. Okay, no, try to be respectful about it, but say, no, I don't appreciate this. This is a work environment. This goes against my beliefs. You shouldn't force me to have to adhere to this and be around this if I can't have a cross up or a statue of Jesus. But yet you can have this demonic statue here, and I have to accept it to be loving and tolerant. But yet you're not loving and tolerant to me. Okay. Now, speaking of love and tolerance, it's the gay pride stuff. So now you go to work and there's Gay Pride Day or Gay Pride Week or God forbid Gay Pride Month at a work facility. That would be miserable. I would quit that very day the moment that I found that out. Could not tolerate that. But imagine you go in there and you say, "Listen, this is ridiculous. If you want to celebrate your gay employees, okay, then maybe you just tell them, hey, whatever, and send out a company-wide email saying, hey, we support you. If you guys need us, let us know." Like, I even disagree with that. You shouldn't even be talking about that at a company. But if you want to, that should be the most. That should be the absolute most that you do about it. So maybe they do that, and then you go in there and say, "Hey, I don't appreciate you sending this out to me. I disagree. I don't like it. If we're gonna do that, then I want to talk about all the straight people and make sure they feel comfortable." So that's what you do, man. You go up there and you counter it because most people, I'm telling you right now, as a person, I don't just talk about it. I be about it. Okay, talk about it, be about it. I'm a person that has gone up and stood his ground multiple times at work because I didn't like what was going on. Okay, many different things that were going on, and I didn't want to be a part of it, and I stood my ground. Nowadays, the fact that you stand your ground, they're going to be too scared to fire you. Most of the time, especially if it's a larger company, they're not going to be able to fire you because they don't have any grounds to stand on. Especially if you go and speak your mind saying, "Hey, this is kind of, selective what you're doing over here. Are you going to let us do it?" And if they say no, then say, "Hey, that's discriminatory." You're going to scare them. Now they're going to be jerks and they're going to try to intimidate and threaten you because they're scared. They might not even seem scared. They might not seem intimidated. But I promise you, when they come at you with threats and they just kind of ignore you or throw you under the bus or just kind of sweep you under the rug in your concerns, I promise you it's because they're scared. Okay. Now, if they're actually willing to hear you out and have a conversation, it's because they don't feel threatened and they're not scared of you. They want to hear your concerns and they care. And that's good. That's good if they do that. That's good. Have the conversations, bring other employees with you. You might be able to resolve it peacefully. But that's how you do something in real life, man. You stand your ground. If they're going to force your company to do it, "I don't want to do this. I disagree." Bring coworkers with you. Hopefully you have some that are willing to back you up. And you go in there and you stand your ground and say, "I'm not going to be a part of this." Okay. That's how you make real change. And now the hard part is this. I understand. Listen, I'm not married. I don't have kids. But I understand for the guys that have families. Okay. I get it, man. Even though I don't have kids, I get it, dude. Like, it's your family. I know how much fathers love their sons, how much men love their families. And that's hard to go in there to risk your job for that. But what do you think is going to happen if you don't start standing up? Seriously. I mean, this could be something that these conservative influencers could actually do to help the everyday people that are going to be the ones to make the change. Maybe you go up there as a father and you say, "I can't do this in good conscience. I can't do this. I can't partake in this." And maybe they get mad and they fire you. Okay, well, try to file a lawsuit or something, but maybe you don't have the money. Okay, well, you could take it to these big conservative influencers and say, "Hey, I stood my ground. Here's all the information. I'm going to file a lawsuit to fight back against this," and ask the conservative influencers to either donate themselves or to post like a GoFundMe so other people can hear your story and help pay for your lawyer. Exactly like what happened to the demonic statue in Iowa. Everybody heard about it, they found out who it was, and they started GoFundMe to pay for a lawyer for the dude. That's something that I could get behind, because now people are going to be emboldened. For those people who really want to take a stand and they can't tolerate it no more, they're going to feel emboldened, because they're going to be like, hey, even if I go and get fired, I know that my people, the conservative people, Christians, are going to have my back to make sure that I'm taken care of, because I just did this thing. Okay, that's something that's a real thing that these influencers can actually do that would be meaningful and impactful. All right, and these are some real things that you just, in your work environment, you can take it to your friend group, your family, clubs, sports. You go out to eat and you see random people out there. These are real things that you can do. Stand up when you see it and say no. But now another thing you need to understand is this. Now, if you're out in public or it's family member, and let's say they're talking about abortion or something, okay, or LGBT rights, whatever, you got to understand that liberals are very emotional people. Okay, we all know this. We know that they're incredibly sensitive. They're very emotionally driven, and they don't care about the facts. They think that they have facts on their side, but they don't. But they're very emotionally driven. As conservatives, our ideas, listen, I'm going to be honest. Three things: Christianity is the superior religion, America is the superior nation that has ever existed. And as far as political ideas go, within America, I would argue that not all, but the majority of conservative ideas are superior to the other political ideologies. Okay, and because of this, because our ideology and belief system is superior, and I don't know if you guys can hear that, my dog's dreaming. He's cute. His name's Snoopy. I might have to show you him sometime, but I'm gonna let him sleep. I don't know how he's sleeping right now with me. I'm talking pretty loud. He's just chilling. So, anyways, where were we at? Let me think. Take a sip of some lemonade. Okay. So you got to meet with them on their level, because our ideas are it really is superior, man, and we know how to handle these things without getting even if we get some feelings involved in it, we don't become emotional about it. So in order to attack these ideas and fight back against them, you might have to be willing to argue with somebody that is a Starbucks barista. Okay, that might be something that you might have to do to help make some change. But you don't just sit there and do and own the liberals and drink their salty tears on a college campus. Okay, no, you go out there in your real world, in real authentic encounters, or it could be family members, and you literally have to lower yourself to their level. Okay, and if you're able to lower yourself to their level and to become more emotionally driven, and just let them know that they're heard, and that you understand how they feel and their emotions behind it, if you can figure out how to do that, I think you can make a real impact on changing people's minds, because we all know that just owning them with facts and logic isn't going to do anything. All that's going to do is make them resent you more and hate you, because now they feel ashamed. Now they feel embarrassed. Now they might even feel guilty because they realize what they believe is so utterly ridiculous. Now they feel guilty for the things that they've said, maybe the things that they've done. But if you come out with more emotional understanding, and you got to be more relaxed with it, man, and more patient. They're not going to understand it right away. Just because you understand it doesn't mean that they will. Okay. So you need to lower yourself to their level and have that conversation with them, and be willing to hear out the emotional side and try to appeal to that emotional side until, hopefully, and this might be a one-off conversation, so maybe you don't have any impact at all, and you'll never be able to follow back up to see what they think, but that might be enough to get the ball rolling, where somebody else might be able to come in to give them more facts and logic in a polite and respectful way, to where they could start realizing, excuse me, that what they're believing is kind of just BS, to be honest. And that's all from one conversation that you had, because you were willing to lower yourself to their levels, to let them know that you understand, and to explain to them why they're wrong, and why what they believe is misleading and just simply not true. So that's another real world example that you can actually do. It's a real world solution, man. But we're too scared, dude. And I get it. Here's the thing: if you talk with somebody and they're not happy and they're mad, if they're willing to have the conversation with you, even if they're angry, continue to have the conversation. If they continue to talk over you, still be respectful. Okay. If it has to get to the point where it's like, okay, this conversation is, I gotta go. This is pointless. It's not productive at all. It's, if anything, is unproductive. counterproductive, then maybe you just have to walk away and say, listen, I have to go. Thank you for talking to me. Leave. But if they got to talk over you and get a little angry, you don't get angry, because them doing that and acting that way, we all know is that it's a reaction. Okay, they feel threatened, they feel cornered. So if they react this way, their own behavior is going to be enough for them to feel that guilt and that shame, and wish that they hadn't reacted like that and heard what you had to say. And that might be something that they can, later on just do their own. They might actually go on social media or on the internet to try to find out more information about whatever topic you were discussing with this person. So literally, being patient, bringing yourself, lowering yourself down to their level is a real world solution that you can do on a daily basis when you encounter people in the real world, of how to start changing mind and influencing people, okay? Or how to take back the workplace to not deal with this woke BS ideology, okay? Because it's everywhere. I promise you. There's big conservative companies. Listen, so the dream is music, right? I love music. I love, talking these philosophical ideas and doing Outside the Gray show. But by trade, I'm a home remodeler. Okay, I used to work for it. This company was nationwide. It's a big company. Now the owner is a Navy SEAL, and he knows Jocko Williams. Okay, Jocko Williams helped him set some things up for the business and help this company find their core values. Okay, for the company. When you hire people on, and the ideology that they send you through orientation, it's all about unconscious bias, racial discrimination, sex discrimination, religious discrimination. It was all set up to be against the white, straight Christian men. The whole orientation. And this is a white, straight, allegedly Christian dude that created this company. But the company got so big because he went public that they invited in the DEI officer. It was this black lady that comes in here saying that white people need to kneel in solidarity with their black brethren. And we're all looking around like, we ain't going to do none of this. We all got the email, and we're looking around at the black guys that we work with, and none of them said anything. They said that was whack. Like, why would they do that? That's so weird. We don't want you guys to kneel. It's like, yeah, we don't plan on kneeling. So this isn't something that, on the boots on the ground level, that's not what it's like, man. Because even the black dudes out there, they don't like this shit that's going on. They don't like it at all. They're uncomfortable that they're being used in that manner, especially because now we all start feeling uncomfortable, and that makes them feel even worse and more uncomfortable. So they don't like it at all, the boots on the ground kind of guys. We don't like that. So it's all coming from one person because they go public and they want to have a good, public image. So they hire these DEI people. They hire all these woke, crazy liberal people, and they've invoke and force their ideology within the company. It's coming from like one or two people. It's not coming from the majority of the company at all. I promise you. I promise you it's not. So if it's coming from one or two people, how many people are willing, because even if your managers disagree or agree with the woke people, you really think they're going to fire you? Like, and if they do, let them file a lawsuit. That's such an easy lawsuit. Like, I'm in Florida, so especially in Florida, that's an easy W for a lawsuit right there. So just stand your ground. Be willing to take the hit, man. Be willing to deal with having to find a new job or quit. Maybe you stand your ground. Nothing changes. You don't get fired. You don't get retaliated upon. But you might have to quit because you're like, I can't tolerate this no more. I did my best. They're not going to change. If you're going to be like this, then I'm out. I'm not going to work for a company like this. And that's going to be the company's loss. Okay? Like I said, we all know that they would fire you in a heartbeat. We all know this nowadays. They would drop you in the drop of a hat. Okay? Without even questioning it. If you were to say something that was a little rude or a little offensive to prevent somebody else filing a lawsuit against them, for saying that. So if they're going to fire you for saying, hey, you're discriminating against me and my beliefs, and they fire you, easy W for a lawsuit. I guess it would depend what state you live in, what city, but if you're in the right state and the judge is reasonable, they would have to side with you because it's discrimination. So real world solutions, man, that's how you not just talk about it, but you be about it. Okay? Don't just talk about it, be about it. And I'm so sick of everybody talking. It's time for action. Stand up in the workplace, stand up to your family, stand up on your everyday walk of life. Take a stand. Okay? And try to not only take a stand, but try to come and lower yourself to their position so they can understand where you're coming from. Because if you lower yourself to their level, you can actually get in. They might lower their defensives, and that's where you can kind of make your attack and boom, hit them with that little boom facts and a little bit of boom logic, okay, because their defense has been lowered. So some real world solutions right there. Quite frankly, I don't think it's all that hard. I've been about it for years, even before this woke ideology stuff really crept in the way that it did. Even before that, there was just business practices that I disagreed with. I confronted the owners and the managers, and they said their piece, I said mine, and I said I'm leaving. I don't feel good, and I don't feel comfortable staying inside of a company that's operating like this. I just can't, in good conscience, be a part of a company like that. So I wish you well. I'm out. No 2 weeks, no nothing. I'm getting my stuff. I'm leaving now. I'll come back for my paycheck. So be willing to have that moral fortitude, to stand your ground when it comes to this stuff, and don't be scared. I know it's scary, but you know, the only thing that could be more scarier than potentially losing a job or standing your ground is never standing your ground. And now you're going to lose your job anyways because they know which way you voted. They know your political beliefs. They find out about it at some point. And now you're persecuted because instead of standing up and potentially losing a job, if you even were to have lost the job, instead now you don't even have work because you don't even have a home because they took it from you because of your beliefs that they've found in the past instead of standing up while you had a chance. I'm not saying that it's going to get to that point, but I mean, we're going to see with the election coming up. It's possible. So, all right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. There were some things I was going to talk about. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Not really feeling it. Maybe a different episode, I'll tell y'all. But for now, man, thanks for tuning in to Outside the Gray. You guys know the deal. I'm not going to say it. Everybody always says it. You know what you're supposed to do. Just do it. Um, and remember, man, just look upon the horizon to see the array and be willing and brave enough to step outside the gray.